A subscriber asked me to talk about people pleasing. And after diving into some of the psychological and biblical perspectives, I learned something that's contrary to what most of us believe. People pleasing isn't actually kind, and the person isn't just being nice. So, if you're tired of feeling stressed and overworked, saying yes to everyone who asks you to do something for them, if you're exhausted from sacrificing your own happiness to avoid conflict, then I'm going to show you exactly why this pattern is keeping you stuck and how to break free without feeling like a terrible person. Yeah, we're good. We are good. People pleasing looks like spending all or most of your time meeting or thinking about meeting the needs of other people while neglecting your own. It's feeling exhausted from being everybody's go-to person, and it is being walked over without realizing that you're the one who presented yourself as a welcome mat in the first place. As I said in the introduction, we think that people pleasing is kind, but what it actually is fear. Fear of three major things: conflict, rejection, and failure. People pleasing also is rooted in a desire to feel worthy and accepted. Another uncomfortable truth that I learned is people pleasing is actually lying in a sense. Listen to this definition of lying from Merriam-Webster. As a verb, to create a false or misleading impression. And along the same lines, that word misleading, misrepresent, means to serve badly or improperly as a representative of. When you people please, you are serving as a bad representative for yourself because you're not letting it be known what your actual wants and desires are. You're saying yes when in actuality you want to say no. And why is that? Sometimes it's for approval, but a scripture that always comes into my mind about that is Galatians chapter 1, verse 10. Am I saying this now to win the approval of people or God? Am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be Christ's servant. So when you live for human approval, you're actually living in direct opposition to God's desires and design for us to be individuals. One question that may come about is, well, why? Where did this all begin? Where did this all start? And like most habits or patterns, whether good or bad, it starts in childhood. It's the concept of attachment and detachment. Consider this. If a child expresses their own opinion, their own thought, or if they say they're very loud, no, An adult's general first response is to still try to force them to do the thing. And if it continues, then the child gets in trouble and is usually separated from the group. Now, I'm not saying don't give kids the time out, but think about the optics of that from the perspective of a child. If I say what I truly want or how I truly feel, then I'm going to be detached from my caregiver or my friend or my peers. I'm going to be detached from the people that I have an attachment to. And that in turn can create fear where a person is afraid to express their feelings because they don't want to be separated or cut off. In my dive, I discovered a phrase that I'd never heard before: fawning. Now, there's some debate among the experts about what fawning and people pleasing is and if they're actually the same thing. Some say that all fawning is people pleasing, but not all people pleasing is fawning. Although some experts think that fawning and people pleasing are the same, there is a distinction. Both do involve putting others' needs above your own and putting others' needs first. But the differences come in the mechanism and the why behind it. Fawning is an automatic response. It's a trauma response to immediately align yourself with the desires of the other person when there is a trigger, when the fear kicks in. People pleasing, on the other hand, involves some thought. So when the fear is presented to the people pleaser, the initial thought might be, I shouldn't do this because I don't want to do this. Or I'm going to do this because, I don't want to hear them say anything, or I don't want them to be upset with me. Whereas in fawning, there's no thought. People pleasing is still rooted in fear, but there's more awareness in the moment. But this is important to know the difference between the two because it informs your mode of healing. Fawning and healing from fawning would most likely respond better to trauma-informed care. But people pleasing might be okay with just boundary setting activities and exercises. Is your people pleasing automatic, or is there some thought behind it? When I was a child, I found this blue ball in a store, and I picked it up and walked around with it the whole time. It didn't have a price on it. Now, at this time, I did have a few dollars that people had given me, and so since it didn't have the price tag on it, I wanted to see how much it was when it was time to go. So we took it to the cashier. I was with my mother, and she found the code or however they looked up prices at that time, and she told me how much it was. Now, I believe I had somewhere between $3 to $5. But the ball cost $7. Now, the price was simply too high. And I wanted to use my own money, but it was outside of my available resources at the time. What has people pleasing cost you? Has it cost your peace? Has it cost your sanity? Has it cost you your sleep? At what point can you say to yourself, enough? I've paid enough. I don't have any more to give. Or are you already depleted and still trying to give what you don't have, still trying to purchase affection with resources that you just don't have? Boundary setting can be a difficult but necessary practice. And at first, before you're used to it, it's going to feel awkward and you're going to feel bad about not meeting the expectations of the people who are used to hearing you say yes. But here are some practical things to say to set a boundary but still be kind. Thank you for the offer, but I can't at this time. Thank you for thinking of me, but my plate is full right now. I'm not comfortable with that. Can we do something else? No, not today. And if someone is being persistent and you've already told them no, you could start off with a phrase like, as I said, I'm not able to today, but perhaps sometime in the future. And being kind often has to do with the way that we say things and not necessarily what we're saying. So you don't have to be nasty or mean when you're saying no, but speak like you want to be spoken to, and remember to let your no be no and your yes be yes, and to cease the double-mindedness that is people-pleasing. It's double-minded because in your mind, you want one thing, but outwardly, you're doing another. This journey to heal from people-pleasing isn't about becoming selfish, but it's about becoming whole. It's about living out of the means that God has given you. It's about showing yourself grace and even being kind to yourself. You weren't created to be everyone's yes person. So start off in small, low stakes situations, practicing saying no thank you, saying I appreciate the offer, but, and let me know how it goes in the comments. What is one thing that you need to set a boundary with? Who is one person that you need to set a boundary with? If you have any other ideas, share them below so that the community can learn from each other and so that we can build each other up. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all 30 of my subscribers. And if this resonated with you, please share, like, and subscribe. And let's keep growing our community even stronger. I'll catch y'all in 2 weeks.